Hi, and welcome to Coronavirus Monologue. Hi, and welcome to Coronavirus Monologue Day 65. And I'm Andrew Smith. So, is it just me, or is everybody getting fat during this quarantine? I mean, I swear, if this quarantine goes on any longer, but by the time they call it off, I'm not going to be able to fit through the door. I gained so much weight actually during the last 2 weeks. My Trump hat reads "Make America Fat Again." So my question is, if the uh, coronavirus is a respiratory disease, will somebody explain to me why there's been a run on toilet paper? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, what are people going to do with all the toilet paper that they've bought? I have a feeling that the Christmas presents this year, the wrapped Christmas presents, are all going to look the same. Now, apparently, there's something called the bag valve mask, which is a manual alternative to the ventilator. But so, in other words, if I were to get the coronavirus, I would undoubtedly get a bag valve mask, and then my wife would be the one to administer the bag valve mask, but it would be then called a two bag valve mask. Do you think that's too far to go for the joke? But there's a tremendous price gouging going on with ventilators now. I mean, because the states are competing with each other. In fact, they've doubled in price. I mean, there hasn't been this much money spent on hot air since Congress voted themselves a raise. And prisoners are now being let out of jail to ease the coronavirus outbreak there. And so now, instead of convicted felons, they'll be called infected felons. And the correspondence dinner, that famous correspondence dinner, has been postponed, because of the coronavirus. So that means that come April 25th, Donald Trump's going to have to insult himself. The president is considering a federal quarantine for New York and New Jersey. But, call me cynical, but it might just have something to do with getting Trump Tower and the Trump golf course a piece of that $2.2 trillion bailout package. Now, apparently, Trump called Alex Rodriguez, of all people, for advice on the coronavirus. But I think Trump must be confused. I mean, A-Rod is an expert on baseball bats, not the kind of bats that caused the coronavirus. They'll probably, Trump wants to quarantine New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. I think that's called tri-state distancing. You know what I mean? And he wants to quarantine Fairfield County. Of course, in Greenwich, they've been the residents in Greenwich have been practicing social register distancing for as long as anybody can remember. And all the restaurants have closed, if you haven't noticed, and switched to takeout now. For instance, everybody's doing takeout now. The other night I asked my wife for sex, and she said, "Forget it. I'm only doing takeout now." So I called a girl I know, but she stopped delivering months ago. I heard one doctor trying to explain the spread of the virus by saying it was like glitter, and just like glitter, it sort of gets on your hands and it gets on your clothes and it gets everywhere, and you can't get rid of it. Okay, I got it. the virus is like glitter. In other words, coronavirus is now gay, and it means if you have an unnatural affection for Barbara Streisand, that's a symptom. When people ask me now, they say, "How you holding up in the quarantine?" I say, "Quarantine? I thought they said trampoline to beat the virus. I thought they said trampoline. I've been bouncing for 2 weeks, but it didn't do any good." Today, by the way, is Sunday, but even church is different now. Christ on the cross is wearing a mask. But I loved Trump calling A-Rod for advice on the coronavirus. But you and I know what he really wanted to know was what's J-Lo like in bed. That's what he was. That's why he really called him. He used the coronavirus as an excuse. And what the hell is no contact deliveries? I mean, come on, what does that mean, no contact deliveries? You mean if a woman has a baby now, the kid has to crawl his way out? Harvey Weinstein has the coronavirus. So has anybody realized so far that Harvey Weinstein has served his entire prison sentence in bed? It probably almost makes the whole thing worth it. His entire prison sentence in bed. That's where he's been. Now, people are getting used to social distancing now and not shaking hands. Even the perverts in the subway, they goose women with their elbow now. That's a fact. But I got to tell you, getting a hand job from an elbow is not the same as the old-fashioned way. Now, one thing about this coronavirus, if you're on a ventilator or even the bag valve thing, it's hard for the nurses to communicate with the patients when they're on the ventilator and they're wearing a mask. I mean, if you're wearing a mask and you say, "Could I make some calls?" It sounds suspiciously like, "Could you hold my balls?" You see what I mean? See the problem? But it even works the other way around, too. For instance, if you ask your nurse, "Could you hold my balls?" 9 times out of 10, she'll tell you, "No, you didn't get any." And that, my friends, is the Day 65 coronavirus monologue. And I'm Andrew Smith.